And joining us now is Senior White House Advisor David Plouffe. Great to have you with us, David. Good morning.
Thanks for having me, Rebecca.
You know, one thing that we here in the United States have been seeing for weeks now are these riots in the streets of Greece. And it shows you what happens when a country gets out of control on its debt and starts having to cut spending. When the president spoke yesterday, is this sending a message to Congress that we can't be like Greece?
Well, we have to get our fiscal house in order. America has to start living within its means. And the president's message yesterday was actually, this is a rare time in Washington where both parties agree on the problem, the scale of the problem, and the timeline to fix it. So that's good news. And there's actually a lot of common ground. But we're not going to reduce the deficit unless both parties are willing to get out of their comfort zone. We're not going to get everything we want. Republicans aren't going to get everything they want. But that's families, businesses. These aren't easy decisions they make every day. Washington has to step up to the plate here and reduce the deficit. And if we do that, by the way, it can be a very, as you know, very important to the economy. And so this isn't just a numbers exercise. Reducing the deficit, putting us on the right fiscal path here is going to be very important to growing the economy.
Failure to increase the debt ceiling before the government debt gets defaulted on, most analysts and economists say would send shockwaves throughout the financial system. Yesterday, when the president compared Congress to school children, was that an attempt on his part to shame Congress into making the right move here?
Well, I think the point he's making is a point most Americans would make if they're behind the podium, which is they want their leaders to lead. And we cannot. The United States of America has to live up to its obligations and pay our bills. And let's remember what this is about. These are bills that Congress has put on the American credit card over the years. This isn't future spending. So we have to pay for these bills. Congress obligated the country to them. But at the same time, we need to reduce the deficit, so we're putting less on the credit card. And the president's confident we can do both of those things. But listen, if we do not pay our bills and go into default, you know, the circumstances could be catastrophic. In terms of interest rates rising, you could have delayed payments, things like Social Security, veterans benefits. So none of that has to happen. If our leaders will get together, if they will try and compromise and find common ground, we can not only avoid those catastrophic circumstances, but we can actually do a very good thing here. And for the first time in a long time, doing something tough on the deficit.
David, when you say the American people want their leaders to lead, the American people are very diametrically opposed on this, as is, you know, the president with Congress, where you have the president drawing a line in the sand on taxes, and you have Congress drawing a line in the sand on taxes. In this standoff, if there cannot be consensus, what does the president do?
Well, first of all, when we're talking about taxes, you know, some would posit this as, you know, we want to raise taxes on people in America and not do enough spending cutting. The president spent the last 2.5 years cutting taxes aggressively for the middle-class small business. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about ending tax loopholes for oil companies, for corporate jet owners, so that millionaires and billionaires are paying their fair share. A balanced approach. So yes, we're going to have to cut domestic spending. We're going to have to cut Pentagon spending. We're going to have savings in health care and entitlement programs. And we're going to have to get revenues by closing tax loopholes for the wealthiest and special interests. If we do that, and almost every serious economist and expert says the only way to reduce the deficit properly is a balanced approach. So the point here is there is common ground. We've already agreed to over $1 trillion in cuts.
David,
We've got to come together and put this together.
We have to end it there, but we appreciate you being with us this morning. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.